High return without risk is the most expensive lie on the planet. In the boardrooms of Wall Street or the high-stakes world of Silicon Valley, everyone is secretly looking for a free lunch. We want the rewards of a pioneer, but we demand the safety of a librarian. We want the view from the top of the mountain, but we refuse to climb the jagged rocks. But the universe is governed by a brutal, unbreakable law of equilibrium: high risk, high return. If you want to alter the trajectory of your life, you must pay the toll in uncertainty. There is no secret exit. There is no magic algorithm. There is only a trade-off. Today, we are going to audit the only chart you will ever need to understand money. We are going to look at the 4 zones of risk, and I will show you why ignoring this fundamental math is the fastest way to lose everything you've worked so hard for. It is time to stop dreaming and start calculating. Hello everyone. Welcome back to the quiet space of Postcard Colorizeyou. If you are returning, thank you for sitting with me again. If you are new here, welcome. This is a sanctuary for clarity in a world that is purposely designed to keep you distracted, emotional, and confused. Before we dive into the cold, hard logic of today's financial map, I want to extend a gentle invitation to visit our digital home at Colorize.com. Building wealth and building a mindset require daily, boring discipline. We have updated our collection with items designed to be the silent companions on your journey. From the fabric of our minimalist t-shirts and hoodies to our specialized drinkware, whether you are reviewing your budget while holding an accent mug at your desk, taking a heavy camping mug out to the woods to disconnect, or carrying an insulated tumbler printed with a funny, motivational animal to keep your coffee hot during a long commute, each piece is there to remind you to keep your vision sharp. Support this channel by bringing a piece of it into your daily life. Now, I want you to find a quiet spot. Let the tension out of your shoulders. Take a deep breath. Let's look at the chart. I want you to close your eyes for a moment and visualize a simple graph. It is the most important graph you will ever draw in your mind. The horizontal line at the bottom is risk. It represents danger. It is the mathematical probability that your hard-earned money will go to zero. The vertical line going up is return. It represents your ambition. It is the profit you expect to make. Now, draw a diagonal line starting from the bottom left corner, going all the way up to the top right corner. In a functioning, rational economy, every single asset you can possibly buy, every house, every stock, every business, every bond, lives on or very close to this diagonal line. Why is this line diagonal? Because money is not stupid. The market is a collective intelligence of millions of people. If an investment offered a high return with low risk, everyone would rush to buy it. That massive demand would drive the price up so high that the return would automatically shrink back down until it hit the diagonal line. Gravity always wins. To navigate your life, we must divide this line into 4 distinct zones. At the very bottom left of our chart is the green zone, low risk, low return. This is where your money goes to hide. It is the financial equivalent of a nuclear bunker. What lives in the green zone? U.S. Treasury bonds, certificates of deposit, CDs, high-yield savings accounts protected by the FDIC. In America, this is the baseline of safety. If the US government defaults on its bonds, the entire global economy has collapsed, and your cash wouldn't matter anyway. So, the risk of losing your principal here is almost mathematically zero. But look at the vertical axis. Look at the return. Often, it is a mere 3%, 4%, or 5% a year. Now, subtract the hidden tax called inflation. When you go to the grocery store, the price of eggs is up. When you go to the gas station, fuel is up. Real inflation eats away at your safe returns. If you put $100,000 in the green zone today, in 10 years, you might look at your bank statement and see $120,000. You feel safe. You feel smart. But that $120,000 will buy you less real estate, less food, and less freedom than the original $100,000 did a decade ago. The green zone is a trap for the fearful. You are paying for safety using the most expensive currency you have, your future purchasing power. It is absolutely necessary to keep your emergency fund here, cash you need for a medical bill or a sudden job loss. But as a long-term strategy, it is a slow, quiet leak in your financial ship. You aren't investing, you are just decaying safely. Let's move up the diagonal line. We enter the blue zone. Moderate risk, moderate return. This is the mighty engine of the American middle class. This is where real, generational wealth is quietly built over decades. This zone is the home of your 401k, your IRA, and broad market index funds. When you buy an ETF like the S&P 500, often under the ticker VOO or SPY, you are not trying to be a genius. You are buying a microscopic piece of the 500 largest, most profitable companies in America. You own a tiny sliver of Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, and Johnson & Johnson. Let's talk about the risk. The risk here is very real. The stock market is heavily influenced by human psychology. In a recession, like in 2008 or the panic of 2020, the market can drop 30% or 40% in a matter of months. You will look at your phone, and your life savings will be bleeding red. That is the moderate risk. But here is the magic of the blue zone. If you have the emotional discipline to close your laptop, walk away, and not sell your shares during the crash, the market recovers. Historically, over a 20-year period, the U.S. stock market has never lost money. It yields an average of 8 to 10% annually. The blue zone is the slow lane to freedom. It doesn't require high IQ. It doesn't require insider knowledge. It requires ironclad discipline. Most people fail in the blue zone not because the math is flawed, but because their pulse is too fast. They let the news cycle dictate their actions. They buy when everyone is greedy, and they sell when everyone is fearful. To win in the blue zone, you must master the hardest skill in investing: doing absolutely nothing for a very long time. Now, the diagonal line steepens sharply. Welcome to the orange zone. High risk, high return. This is the zone where wealth is rapidly accelerated, but it is also the zone where lives are completely ruined. This includes picking individual stocks, using leverage in real estate, and the ultimate gamble: entrepreneurship. Let's talk about real estate. Many Americans view real estate as a safe, green zone asset. It is not. The moment you use a mortgage, the moment you put 20% down and borrow 80% from the bank, you are using leverage. Think about the fix and flip culture in booming cities like Phoenix or Miami. You take out a hard money loan with a punishing interest rate, hoping to renovate a house and sell it for a massive profit in 6 months. If the plan works, your return on your actual cash is astronomical. But what happens if the Federal Reserve raises interest rates? What happens if the housing market cools down for just 3 months or your contractor walks off the job? You are stuck holding a physical asset that you cannot sell, while a massive monthly debt payment bleeds you dry. Leverage is a double-edged sword that doesn't care about your feelings. The peak of the orange zone is starting a business. Statistically, 90% of startups fail. In America, launching a company means giving up your employer-sponsored health insurance. It means no more 401k matching. It means working 100-hour weeks while watching your personal savings evaporate. When we look at a billionaire founder, we see the high return. We call them lucky. But we do not see the invisible graveyard of thousands of brilliant people who tried the exact same thing and lost everything. In the orange zone, you are no longer a passenger on the economic train. You are the pilot, and pilots crash. Directly above the line of rational investment lies the red zone. Ultra-high risk, ultra-high return. Make no mistake, this is not investing. This is a casino hiding behind financial terminology. This is the zone where you find people on Reddit or TikTok bragging about 0 DTE options contracts that expire in a single day. This is the zone where a young man takes out a home equity loan to buy an obscure meme coin with a dog logo, praying that an influencer's tweet will double his money. This is trading on margin, where you borrow money from your broker to buy volatile stocks. In the red zone, you are not betting on the long-term growth of the American economy. You are betting on a glitch in the matrix. You are hoping that someone else will be a bigger fool than you and buy your worthless asset at a higher price before the music stops. But the math is unforgiving. If you win, you buy a Lamborghini. If you lose, you get a margin call. Your assets are liquidated, and your net worth plummets below zero. The red zone is where desperate people go to escape their lives instead of doing the hard work to build them. Now, look at your mental map one more time. We have a diagonal line holding up the economy. But what about the top left corner? What lives in the space of high return and zero risk? Listen to me closely. The top left corner does not exist. It is a mathematical impossibility. This corner is the exclusive home of scammers, frauds, and predators. This is where Bernie Madoff operated his multi-billion-dollar illusion. This is where every Ponzi scheme operates today on Telegram, WhatsApp, or Facebook. Let's apply basic logic. If a guy posing in front of a rented Ferrari calls you and promises a guaranteed 20% return every month with zero risk, your brain must immediately sound the alarm. If an investment was truly guaranteed to yield 20% a month risk-free, Wall Street institutions with supercomputers and billions of dollars would have bought it all in seconds. Why would they run a targeted ad to share this incredible secret with you for $500? In the top left corner, they are not selling you an investment. You are the investment. Gravity always wins. When an offer defies gravity, run away. Here is the final secret. This is how the ultra-wealthy elite actually operate. They do not gamble in the red zone. Instead, they learn how to bend gravity. They take an asset from the highly volatile orange zone and they physically drag it toward the safety of the green zone. They create a rare yellow zone where the return remains extremely high, but the risk drops drastically. How do they drag it? They use the heaviest weight in the universe: deep, specialized knowledge. If a veteran surgeon decides to invest in a new medical device startup, his risk is significantly lower than yours. Why? Because he understands the biology, he knows the hospital procurement system, and he can personally call the developers. He has bent gravity. He kept the high return of the startup, but his knowledge erased the blind risk. Warren Buffett's 2 golden rules are: Rule number 1, never lose money. Rule number 2, never forget. Rule number 1. If you do not have deep knowledge about an asset, you have no business playing in the orange zone. You are a blind investor. Build your financial fortress brick by brick in the blue zone with index funds. Do not step into the orange zone until you have gathered enough knowledge to bend gravity. The more you know, the less you gamble. We have reached the great audit. I want you to sit in the silence of this moment and look at your own financial map. Not just your stock portfolio, but where you are investing your energy, your stress, and your time. Are you being honest about the risk you are carrying? Many of you are sitting in the red zone right now, losing sleep, praying for a miracle to save your bank account. Greed is a loud, chaotic voice. It tells you that your neighbor bought crypto and got a new car, so you are falling behind. It tells you to hurry up. Silence that voice. True wealth is not a sprint fueled by panic. It is a long marathon of boring, deliberate discipline. Respect the gravity of risk. Earn your right to the orange zone through hard study and experience, and walk away from anyone offering you a free lunch in the top left corner. In the end, wealth is not about how much money you make. It is about how much you keep and the peace of mind you have when you close your eyes at night. That brings us to the end of episode 16 of Postcard Colorizeyou. If today's map helped you find your footing, please leave a comment. I would love to hear which zone you are currently building in. And as always, a simple like helps this message reach the wandering souls who are dangerously close to the red zone. Thank you for listening. Wishing you a peaceful evening and a heart that values stability over greed. Goodbye for now.